Hello everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Operation Battle Ready, the Iridescent tutorial. I've gotten many requests and questions on this since painting Penthesilea for Rumble, so I decided why not have this be our first video painting tutorial. So let's not waste any more time and jump right into this. The paints I used were CItadel color Liche Purple, Model color Violet and Blue Violet, and Reaper Marine Teal, Surf Aqua, and Mint Green. Using the gradient process from the previous video, create a gradient from Liche Purple up to Mint Green. If you'd like your blue highlights to have a little more pop, add white to the end of your gradient. After priming the model with black Stynal Res surface primer, pick out armor pieces with Liche Purple. I like to use additives like Liquitex Flow Aid or Golden Open Thinner along with water to help keep paints flowing and not get chalky. Make sure to keep your paints thin and layers thin to avoid chalkiness in paint strokes. Now we will begin to highlight the armor as well as where we would like our iridescent effect. Looking up pictures of iridescence can help give you a blueprint of different color schemes and patterns to try. I wanted to give him a dark neon vibe, so I didn't go through the entire color spectrum to achieve a full iridescent effect. Rather, I kept it to cool colors. I like painting the highlights of the iridescence moving towards the inside edges of armor plates. It starts to give the armor a glowing type of effect as the highlights get brighter. Something you'll see me do a lot of is stipple the paint towards edges for highlighting. Iridescence isn't always perfectly blended, so stippling is a really easy and fast way to creating an iridescent effect. The purple highlights for the iridescent effect are also the highlights for the armor itself. Continue highlighting the armor as usual. Next, we will be using our 50-50 mix of Liche Purple and Violet to continue with the highlights. There are a lot of layers of paint to this effect, so make sure to keep your paint somewhere in the consistency of watercolor paint and milk. Using additives and water is very recommended. If you're wanting to keep your blend smoother, you may go back into Liche Purple to blend it through the highlight and vice versa. Now we will be using our 50-50 mix of violet and blue violet. I like to skip over using violet as a straight layer of paint, and instead I use that to help blend out the highlight as I paint it. I will look over a model a million times before I'm usually satisfied with the result. As long as you can keep your paints thin and paint in thin layers, you can go back into any of the paint in the gradient to help blend colors through. Since the transition from violet to blue violet is so harsh, I'll take slow progressions up the gradient to help keep blends smoother, adding a little more blue violet every time. As the highlights get brighter, make sure you keep them as opaque as possible. Any holes or break in your paint will show through any color you paint over it. Now using just the blue violet, we will highlight the armor and really start to define the shape of the iridescence. Keeping paint very thin, paint highlights and pull your brush towards the middle of wherever your iridescent highlight is. As you can see here, I'm pulling my brush towards the center of the model. Again, go back into your gradient as many times as you need to help create the blends that you would like. Repeat these highlights as many times as you'd like for a brighter iridescent effect. Now we get to have the real fun, blending turquoise through purple. As you can see, I've already started layering the marine teal over the highlighted areas we picked out for the iridescent effect. Painting with the same technique as before, pull the marine teal towards the center of the model, keeping paint thin. This is where sometimes the blending can become tedious, but I really like to go in after every highlight of blue and blend in the sides with violet. This does add to your painting time, but the results are well worth it. Repeat the highlighting on all of the selected iridescent areas only. Leave areas of the armor just highlighted to the blue-violet. Creating a more defined iridescent shape, highlight areas of marine teal with surf aqua. And to our final highlights of the iridescence. Using thinned out mint green, highlight areas of surf aqua, keeping your highlights tighter to create the iridescent effect. If desired, you can bring up the iridescent highlights to pure white. Once you have finished all those highlights, go through and blend out any sides or edges that you'd like. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I also would like to thank all of our amazing patrons on Patreon. We wouldn't be here without all of you, and for that we thank you. If you'd like to become a patron, and help support the channel, and maybe even win a painted model by myself or Tommy Back, just go to patreon.com/OperationBattleReady. This is Riotgrrl signing out.